Good morning, students. A warm welcome to my next class, Articles. I am Surendra Kumar, lecturer in English. Today we are going to discuss articles, their uses, and how to answer the questions related with board and competitive exams. Articles is the favorite topic of English grammar because it is frequently asked in all the examinations. That's why today we are going to discuss articles. Before the discussion, we have to understand the concept of articles. What are articles? For example, the three words a, an, and the. A, an, and the. These are known as articles in English grammar. Basically, they qualify nouns. That's why they perform the action as adjectives or determiners. These three words in English grammar, a, an, and the or the, are known as articles. Where do we use them? How do we classify them? We can classify them in two parts. A and an are known as indefinite articles. Why are they indefinite? Because they qualify anything, any person or anything in general, not a particular or specific person or thing. For example, a book. A book means any book. If I say bring a book, means you can bring any book. Please give me a pen, means any pen. In general, there is not specific. We go to a shopkeeper and we say, give me a marker. Which marker? Any marker. It means any. That's why they are known as indefinite articles. They are not definite. Opposite of definite is indefinite. These are the short form of one. That's why a and an are used for singular nouns, for singular words. They are used because they refer to one. They are the short form of one. That's why they can't be used with plural nouns. For example, a boy, a girl, an ink pot, an apple means one. They refer to one. If there is a word in plural after a blank, you can't fill in a or an. That's why, because they refer to one. They refer to singular nouns. The next is the. This is known as the or the, depending upon the word followed by it. This is known as definite article because the refer to definite or specific or a particular person or thing. That's why we use the before a particular or specific or definite thing. So the is known as definite article. Definite article. In this way, these three words are known as articles. Before going to discuss the topic of articles in detail, we have to understand the concept of sounds. I will take 5 minutes to make you understand about the concept of sounds. Because the use of articles a or an depends upon sounds, not the spellings. What matters is the sound, not the spelling. Sound of a word, initial sound of a word decides the use of a and an before them. They are used before nouns or for nouns to make them qualify. That's why we have to understand the concept of sounds. As you know, there are only 26 letters in English language and The problem is there are 44 sounds. 26 letters produce 44 sounds. There is no one-to-one correspondence in English as found in Hindi. There is no one-to-one correspondence between the spellings and sounds in English. This is the main problem. But in Hindi, there is one letter for one sound. But here, a letter produces one sound in a word and the another sound is another word. That's why we have to understand the basic concept of sounds before discussing articles. As you know, 26 letters A to Z produce 44 sounds. And out of these 26 letters, there are 21 consonants and 5 vowels. Which letters are vowels? A, E, I, O and U. These 5 letters are known as vowels. They produce 20 sounds, not 5 sounds. That's why we have to decide the sound produced by the initial letter of a word. These 21 consonants produce 24 sounds. That's why we have to understand the concept of sounds in brief. 21 consonants produce 24 sounds and 5 vowels produce 20 sounds. Out of these 20 sounds, there are 12 monophthongs and 8 diphthongs. आपको बहुत ज़्यादा इसकी डिटेल में जाने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. You have to understand that these 5 vowels produce 20 sounds. It means we have to identify the sound produced by the vowel. Before these 20 sounds, we use N as an article. And before these 24 sounds, we use O. These 24 consonant sounds, we use A. And before these 20 vowel sounds, we use N in the exercise of articles. So, what are these monophthongs? Monophthongs are known as pure vowel sounds, single vowel sounds. For example, a vowel sound in, and, man, etc. But these are 8 diphthongs. Diphthongs means 2 vowel sounds come together to produce a single vowel sound. That's why they are known as diphthongs. As in case of fine, F-I-N-E. This here the letter I in the word fine, F-I-N-E. This letter I produce I sound. That's why these 2 sounds come together to produce a single vowel sound. These are known as diphthongs. We need not to go into details. We just have to know the basic information about the sounds. Because in case of articles, sounds matter, not the spellings. Now, the case is, all the 5 vowels produce vowel sounds in most of the words. But in some words, they produce consonant sounds as well. And before consonant sounds, we use O, not N. That's why you need not to be confused by watching, by observing, or by having a vowel at the initial position of a word. Pronounce the word and identify the initial sound of the word, and then you will be able to use correct article before the word. For example, in most of the words, vowels produce vowel sounds. For example, onion, Here, this letter O produce a vowel sound. Orange, this O produce a vowel sound. Apple, this A produce a vowel sound. There is no problem. The same letter vowel produce the same vowel sound. But if we take some other examples, in the same way, most of the consonants produce consonant sounds. But, for example, book, pen, man, cat. This consonant B produce B sound in this word. Pen, this letter P produce P sound in this word. This letter M produce M sound in this word man, and this letter C produce initial sound K in this word cat. There is no problem because these consonants produce consonant sounds. These vowels produce vowel sounds. But इसको मैं कुछ इस तरीके से समझाऊं आपको कि एक बार वोवल्स और कॉन्सोनेंट्स की आपस में लड़ाई हुई और कुछ वोवल्स ने कॉन्सोनेंट की आवाजें निकालनी शुरू कर दी, आप ऐसा कह सकते हैं। बदले में कुछ कॉन्सोनेंट्स ने भी वोवल्स की साउंड्स निकालना शुरू कर दी। तो जिन जिन वर्ड्स में वोवल्स ने कॉन्सोनेंट की साउंड प्रोड्यूस की, वहां हम ए यूज करेंगे, और जिन जिन कॉन्सोनेंट्स ने वोवल्स की साउंड जिन वर्ड्स में प्रोड्यूस की, वहां पर ए यूज करेंगे। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट्स टेक एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ द वर्ड यूनियन। ऑफ कोर्स दिस word union starts with the letter U, which is a vowel. But when we pronounce these words, we say union. The initial sound is ya, like this, U. That's why we can't use N before this word. Next is university boy. This U in this word university boy produce a ya sound, and ya is a consonant. Before consonant sounds we use a, and before vowel sounds we use n. Next word one, 1 rupee note. In this phrase, the first word one, here the vowel o is producing V sound, not O sound. That's why we shall use a 1 rupee note, we shall use a university boy, we shall use a union instead of N union, N university boy, and 1 rupee note. Understand? Now, let's take the example of consonants which produce vowel sounds. Let's take a few examples. Here, honest, dash honest man. In these words, in most of the words, if O is followed by H at the initial position, H is silent. Of course, there are some exceptions to this rule, but in most of the words, for example, honest, it is never spoken as honest. If you speak it, pronounce it like honest, then you will never be able to fill in the correct article. That's why it is pronounced as honest. Initial sound is O, which is a vowel sound. Next, H-O-U-R. H is silent here and it is pronounced as R. 1 R. And we can say an honest man. N R. H-E-I-R. Here this H is silent, is not pronounced. It is pronounced as ear. And next, some abbreviations. Of course, this abbreviation starts with a consonant, S, M, etc. There are so many others also, L, L, B. action, L, X, S, M, all of these letters are consonants. But when we pronounce these abbreviations, a vowel sound is produced at initial position. S, A sound is produced. M, A sound is initial sound. L, again A. And X, again A. That's why we use N before such abbreviations. But if we write it in detail by expanding the abbreviation, for example, SDO, if we write dash subdivisional officer, then it becomes sub sound and we will use a subdivisional officer. But here, when they are written in abbreviation forms, SDO, then we'll use NSDO, NLLB, NAction, NMP. We must have a good command over the sounds. Then there will be no error while filling in the exercise of articles. That's why we had this brief discussion over the sounds. And now we shall discuss articles in detail. Use of N and A. First of all, we are going to discuss the use of N. Article A and N are used before singular nouns. Why? Because A and N both indicate one thing, a singular thing. They are not used before plural nouns. Then, they are also not used before uncountable nouns. They are used before countable singular nouns. Now, let us take the example of N. N is used before a vowel sound, or you can say before a word beginning with a vowel sound. First, it is used before the singular noun beginning with a vowel sound. For example, an apple. This word apple begins with sound A, which is a vowel sound. An apple, an orange, an umbrella, like this. These words begin with a vowel letter as well as a vowel sound. That's why we use N before them. And now let us take the second example. Article N is used before a word beginning with silent H. Most of the words in English which start with OH and preceded by O, in those words H is usually silent and they begin with a vowel sound. For example, HOUR. Here the word R, in this word R, H is silent, so it is pronounced as R, not har. Honest, not honest. H is also silent here, and HEIR, air, not here. Honorable, not honorable. Pay attention to the pronunciation of these words. In these words, H is always silent. That's why we use N before them. For example, NR, an honest man, an heir, an honorable person. And the third example is, we use N before the words beginning with a consonant letter but having a vowel sound. Some words begin with a consonant but they produce a vowel sound. For example, in some abbreviations, first letter is usually, if it is a consonant, but when we speak it, when we pronounce it, it produces a vowel sound at the beginning of the word. For example, FIR, FIR, MLA, MLA, MP, MP, SDM, SDM. In every first letter, when we pronounce this letter M, it starts with a vowel sound A, M, MP, M, and SDM, S. A sound is there at the beginning of these words. That's why we use N before them. NFIR, NMLA, NMP, NSDM, NAction, NLLB, like this. In this way, we use N before these three types of words. Recap: words beginning with a vowel sound, words with a silent beginning with a silent H, and words beginning with a consonant but producing a vowel sound in some abbreviations. And now let us take the example of A. What is A? Where do we use A as an article? A is used before a consonant sound. The words beginning with consonant sounds take A before them. For example, first of all, before a word beginning with a consonant sound as well as a consonant letter. For example, boy, it begins with letter B and it produces a sound B, which is a consonant sound. That's why we use A before boy. A boy, a pencil, a book, a chalk, etc. In this way, we use A before them. The next is before words beginning with a vowel but producing a consonant sound, ya, yu, you or yeah. For example, a European. Here, this beginning letters E and U produce a U sound. And this ya sound is a consonant sound. Although it is a vowel, but these two vowels produce a consonant sound. That's why we use A before it. A European. In the same way, a useful thing, a union, a U. This word EWE, this is pronounced as U. A U, like YU. And that's why we use A before this. A European, a useful thing, a union, a U, a university boy, like this. And the third is, A is used before a word beginning with a vowel but a consonant sound, which produce a consonant sound. Although they begin with a vowel letter, but they produce a consonant sound. And which consonant sound? W. It produces a W sound at the initial position. For example, here the word one, O-N-E, of course it begins with the letter O, which is a vowel. But when we pronounce it like one, and V sound is a consonant sound. That's why we use A before one. And in this way, a one-eyed man, a 1 rupee coin, a 1 rupee coin, a 1 rupee note. In the same way, A and N are used frequently. यदि आप A और N के इस यूज को ध्यान से देखें और इन तीनों कैटेगरीज को अपनी नोटबुक में नोट्स बनाकर लिखें और कुछ और एग्जाम्पल्स आप इनमें ऐड करें तो निश्चित रूप से आप अ और एन से रिलेटेड कोई भी यूज जो आर्टिकल्स का होगा वो गलत नहीं करेंगे. आई गारंटी द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ यूजिंग अ एंड एन एज आर्टिकल्स. आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस use of the as an article in different sentences or before certain words. First of all, we shall discuss about the pronunciation of the word the. It is sometimes pronounced as the and sometimes it is pronounced as the. So don't be in confusion. Both the pronunciations of the word the are absolutely correct. But it depends upon the following word after the. If the following word begins with a consonant sound, we shall pronounce it the. For example, the Ganga, the Ramayana, the Bible, etc. But if the following word starts or begins with a vowel sound, it is pronounced as the. For example, the Atlantic Ocean. If it begins with a vowel sound, it is pronounced as the. If it begins with a consonant sound, then it is pronounced as the. Take a few examples, note down in your notebooks to make the correct pronunciation of the in different situations. Now, let us discuss the use of the or the as an article. First of all, in all the sentences in which the particular noun is already discussed. If it is discussed already, then we shall use the before that particular noun in the second sentence. Let us take an example. I bought a book. The noun book begins with a consonant sound b. That's why we use a before this particular noun book, because it has been used firstly in this first sentence, and when the same noun is used again in the second sentence of the same passage, we use the before this book. For example, I bought a book. The book contains 1000 pages. Which book contains 1000 pages? The same book which I bought. यहां पर ये वही बुक है जो मैंने खरीदी थी, इसलिए सेकंड सेंटेंस में ये बुक स्पेसिफिक बन जाती है. यहां पर यह बुक इन जनरल सेंस एनी बुक है. अगर हम इस पैसेज में और भी बहुत सारे सेंटेंसेस हों और इस बुक की बार बार चर्चा हो, तो हम इसके बाद इस बुक से पहले द आर्टिकल का यूज करेंगे. अब हम बात करते हैं कि अगर बोलने वाला स्पीकर उसके दिमाग में किसी नाउन को लेकर, किसी वर्ड को लेकर पहले से ही कोई स्पेसिफिकेशन है, कोई डेफिनेट नाउन है, तो वो उससे पहले द का यूज करेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई से टू माई फ्रेंड लेट्स गो टू द पार्क, इट मीन्स आई नो दैट स्पेसिफिक पार्ट ऑलरेडी. मीन्स वी गो देयर डेली and today also I am proposing him to go. Let us go to the park. It means I know this park and we visit this park daily. But in all the sentences before park, article the is not used. For example, if I don't know about that specific park, that park is not specific one, a particular one, a definite one, we use a before that. For example, if I go to the city of my relative and I ask him is there a park in your city? Is there a park in your town? In this way, I am asking him about any park. There we shall use a park instead of the park. One more sentence. For example, the camera you want is out of stock. If I go to a shop, an electronic shop, and I ask for a specific camera, have you that specific camera? And the shopkeeper replies, no, the camera you want is out of stock. Not any camera. He has so many other types of cameras, but not that specific camera which I want. That's why he uses the camera you want is out of stock. In the next sentence, when a singular noun refers to a whole class of the same noun. When a singular noun refers to a whole class, a whole family of the same type of nouns. For example, the dog. For example, the dog is a faithful animal. Here, this noun dog is not a specific dog. This is not also any one dog. This noun dog represents the whole dog family, the whole class of dogs. That's why I say the dog is a faithful animal. What does it mean? It means all the dogs are faithful animals. The next sentence is, the camel is the sheep of the desert. This is a well-known sentence and used frequently in English language. For example, this camel is not a specific camel or any general camel. It is a word, the camel represents the whole class of camel family. Or I can say all the camels. The camel, it is the sheep of the desert. Here the sheep and desert also symbolize or refer to all number of sheep and all the deserts. That's why we use the before camel, sheep and desert in this sentence. And the third type is we use the or the before proper nouns of some types. For example, before names of gulfs, oceans, rivers, group of islands or range of mountains. Let's take example of each. Gulfs, the Persian Gulf. This is a proper noun. Although we don't use articles before proper nouns. For example, I am Surendra. Surendra is the name of a person. I will never say I am a Surendra or I am the Surendra. No, because we don't use articles before proper nouns except these specific. For example, the Persian Gulf. Oceans, the Pacific Ocean. Rivers, the Ganga, the Nile, the Yamuna, the Kaveri, and group of islands. For example, the Andamans and the USA, the United States of America. But we shall never use the before names of countries. For example, I will never say the India, I will never say the Pakistan, but I will say the USA, because USA is a group of small countries. That's why I say the USA. In the same way, mountain ranges. For example, the Himalayas. The Himalayas is the name of a mountain range. That's why I use the before this proper noun of name of a mountain range. Here, I want to make a specific example. For For example, Mount Everest. Fill in an article before this. Do you know? Can you fill? Some students fill the as they see name Mount, but this is a particular name of a peak. This is not the name of a range, and no article is used before Mount Everest. For example, dash Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. So, I shall say no article, Mount Everest is the highest peak. In this way, we use the before these particular nouns when they are already discussed, when they refer to whole class or whole family, and before these specific proper nouns of gulfs, oceans, rivers, group of islands or mountain ranges. Now we shall discuss some more examples of articles used before particular nouns.